What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is Colton with Grand Valley Sporting Goods, and today is actually a very fun day because this is our first bow launch of 2026. I'm a little behind the 8 ball because I know these already came out, but we've been super swamped at the shop, so now I finally have time to be able to do this. So first up, we have PSE. So they came out with 3 bows this year, all carbon bows. They didn't come out with aluminum, which bold choice in my opinion, just because carbon is definitely a different price point, as many of you may know. But nonetheless, we'll start off with the Mach 33DS with this new FDS cam. As far as I'm aware, that's the only thing that they changed. I think they did change up the brace height a little bit, but it seems like this year speed is kind of the game for PSE. So FDS cam, a little bit faster cam system out of this. I believe they did change the let-off percentages a little bit from, I think last year it was 75 to 90, and then now it's, I believe, 70 to 85% let-off. And honestly, that wasn't a bad move on their part because the majority of people that we deal with that get bows with adjustable let-off, they're typically not using it in a 90% let off just because it's not really as stable. It's a little bit harsher to let down per se. And especially if you're using a little bit lower percentage let off, like say going to 80%, for example, it typically holds a little bit better. But the majority of people are still gonna be shooting this at 85, so really not much of a loss there. Other than that, they didn't really change a whole lot, but I'm going to run through the specs here real quick. And yes, I am reading off the card, but most people in these reviews are going to be doing that anyways. So IBO speed is 348 feet per second. So I believe that was a little bit faster than last year. I think the 30DS was around like 344, 345, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Draw length range from 24.5 to 30 inches. Weight options are going to be 50, 60, 70, and then 80 pounds. Actually, I should check that real quick. One moment. Yeah, 50, 60, 70, and 80 pounds for the limb weight options. Axle to axle length is 30, right on the dot. Brace height is 5.875 inches. And like I mentioned, your let off is from 70 to 85 pounds. So all in all, we've all shot this bow at the shop a little bit. Just like its predecessor, you do have some integrated options, being the pick mount up front. You do still have the holes, the bigger holes on the side to be able to mount just a regular sight on there, so you don't have to go to a pick mount if you don't want to. They have the integrate rest mount on the back, and then those 2 holes should line up for the core mount still for Hamsky. Other than that, it's a pretty good bow. So generally, faster bows are going to equate to a little bit harsher draw cycle, a little bit more hand shock and vibration. So typically what I tell everybody is you're sacrificing one thing to gain another. So typically when you're gaining speed, you're just kind of losing the overall bow feel. But shooting this, and honestly even shooting the PSE bows last year, I was pretty impressed. Draw cycle was pretty smooth throughout, pretty stiff at the beginning, but it just kind of gradually rolls over. There's not like a huge dump or anything like that. But it also is going to depend on your draw length as well. One thing I forgot to mention too, you do have their proprietary quiver system, just like the rest of the manufacturers pretty much do. And then you have 2 spots to be able to mount your quiver. They give you a little dampener at the bottom, but if you don't want that, you can take that out, mount a stabilizer at the very bottom. So other than that, like I said, they didn't really change a whole lot on this bow. So let's go to the next one. Here we have the Mach 33DS with the FDS cam. Again, just like the 30, they didn't really change a whole lot except this new cam system. So Again, I've shot this bow. It's gaining a little bit extra feet per second on it. I'm generally a longer axle to axle guy, partially because I have to, because I'm a 30.5-inch draw. Shorter axle to axle bows typically go up to 30, but regardless, I like the longer axle to axle bows just for stabilization, a little bit more forgiveness out of it. If I can gain a little bit of extra speed with it still being a good shooting bow, that's definitely a bonus. So yeah, really other than that, let's run through the specs on this one. So IBO is at 342 feet per second. Your draw length range is from 25.5 to 31 inches. So that's getting into the long draw stuff there for you guys like myself. Draw weight range, again, 50, 60, 70, and 80 pound limb options. Brace height is 6.375. So that would be what, 6 and I think 3/8? No, I'm probably wrong there. But anyways, math wasn't really my strong suit. Axle to axle length, 33 inches. Same let off percentage, 70 to 80. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. You still have the same mounting options as the 30. Yeah. So let's move on to the next one. Now, this is the one that everybody's been waiting for because this is a completely new bow from PSE, and this is the PSE SICARIO. So, honestly, when I first saw this bow, first saw the specs on it, I really wasn't super impressed until I shot it. This is a speed bow for PSE that they're coming out with. And as you can see, it has a really short brace height. Faster cam system to it. As far as I'm aware, and let me know in the comments, but this is the fastest IBO rating bow that they've come out with in a long time. I know the Matthews Monsters, some of the previous PSEs like the Full Throttle, they were up there as far as the IBO speed goes, but in recent years, as far as I'm aware, this is the fastest one that they've come out with. So, running through the specs here real quick, IBO of 357 feet per second, which is crazy. You'll see the speed tests here in a little bit. We actually did film those before, but I was pretty impressed with the speed on these. Draw length range from 24.5 to 30 inches. Draw weight range of 50, 60, 70, and 80 pounds. Brace height is 5 1/4. Axle to axle length is 33, which again, it's really good because typically longer axle to axle bows, it's not going to produce that speed, but they do help it out with the short brace height and the faster cam system. So guys that kind of want the best of both worlds per se, this might be a bow to take a look at. And I have shot it. It really isn't that bad. For the speeds that this is producing, I was actually pretty impressed. So same mounting systems as the other bows, pick mount up front, integrated mount for the rest. You can use the core mount as well. Integrated quiver system with it. But yeah, and one thing I do pride PSE on, one is they keep their carbon bows lightweight. Other manufacturers, and I'm not going to name names, but they've gotten heavier over the years to where really you're not gaining a weight savings for spending almost $2 grand on a bow, which is where most people are looking at a carbon bow for, is just lighter weight, but also they're warm to the touch in cold weather. Typically they're a stiffer riser, but one thing I give PSE credit for is their riser is 100% made in the US, and they still keep it under $2,000, which is really hard to do. But yeah, I would definitely encourage you guys to come in your local shop. If you're in the West Michigan area, definitely come and give us a look. We're in Allendale, Michigan, so on the west side, and we have pretty much every bow that you can think of to shoot. Being October, we're a little low on stock because we're waiting on the new 2026s to come out. So, but we do have the PSEs, and then the review that I'm going to make after this one is going to be the Dartons. So you at least have a handful of 2026 models to shoot, and then we do have a pretty good amount of 2025s left over. So other than that, that's pretty much everything I can say about this bow. let's move on to the speed test. All right, so we're gonna start the speed test here. So for those that are joining us for the first time this year, last year we started doing a speed test with all the flagship bows with a 350 grain arrow, but at 30 inches and 70 pounds, so we can see how close it is to IBO, but then also show the same at 29 inches and 28 inches, just so you can see the efficiency of the cam and see where essentially the fall off is, so you can get a pretty good idea roughly of where you're going to be at as far as your speed goes, because average is going to be around 28, 29 inches for your draw length. So we're going to start with the Mach 33 DS. We got these at 30 inches and 85% let off right now, just because the majority of people are using 85% let off. And IBO on this is going to be 348. So let's see how close this is. So we're going to do 2 shots and just take the rough average of the 2. A little stiff at the beginning, but not that bad. 345. Not bad. Only 3 feet off. So PSEs generally are known for a little bit stiffer draw cycle, but it's pretty smooth all the way around. All right, 345 and a 344. So out of the 2, we'll just take the faster number. All right, not bad at all. So then we'll shoot the Mach 33. And as I mentioned before, the bow is pretty much the same as last year. This is just their new FDS cam. So you get a little bit more speed out of it. And this one's 342 IBO. .333. It's about 9 feet off, which is honestly pretty average for most. Same thing, 333. And then next, the all-anticipated SICARIO. What is SICARIO? Mexican assassin?
I don't know. Sounds right.
Oh, IBO. Should probably take a look at that first. IBO is 357. Really short brace height, but does not draw bad at all. 349. It's gonna be hard to beat that one. But this is where you're getting your speed from, is that dinky little brace height there. But really not a bad shooting bow for a speed bow. I mean, draw cycle for a speed bow is definitely tolerable. Another 349. So pretty consistent. Pretty impressive. All right, we're gonna take a quick break real quick, and Drew and I are gonna change these to 29 inches and we'll do it again. All right, so we got these set to 29 inches. Again, 70 pounds, 350 grain arrow. We'll start with Mach 30. .332. So a loss of 13. Just quite a bit. Another 332. All right, next up, Mach 33. $323. So only 10-foot loss on that one, which is pretty normal. $321. So 11 feet. All right. Lastly, the SICARIO. $337. So another loss of 12. It's not looking too good for you, Drew. Drew's a 25-inch draw for those that don't know. I'm just kidding. He's 26. $336. All right, we'll set these up to 28 and see how they do. All right, so we got these at 28 inches now. Starting with, Drew would like everybody to know that's his actual draw length, not 25 or 26 inches or whatever I said. But let us know in the comments what bow you think Drew's gonna shoot this year. He's an 80-pounder guy, but he shoots at 27 inches and just likes, I don't know, what do you like in a bow? You switch it all the time. I don't know. Just let us know in the comments what bow you think Drew's going to shoot this year. You might like this. It actually drew really smooth at 28. 320. $321. All right. Next we got 33. $309. $310. might be good for you, Drew, because apparently at 28 inches, they just warm up a little bit and get faster. Say 310. All right, so we got a loss of 11, loss of 9. Last but definitely not least, the SICARIO. $325. Another 325. So lost 12. Say 320. Oh, 325. I screwed up. All right, and that's it for PSE. So as always, appreciate you guys watching. Let us know in the comments what you want to see more from us in these reviews. Try to keep it pretty basic and simple because I always encourage people to go to their local pro shops. If you're in the West Michigan area, come see us. We're in Allendale in Michigan. But definitely try out some of these new bows. Just see what feels best for you. Try them at your draw length, try them at your poundage, and just kind of go from there. But other than that, I think we have Darton coming up. And then we might have Bowtech here at the end of the month. And then we have Hoyt and then Matthews coming up. So yeah, other than that, appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.